It's on the show. Well, Representative Pat Proctor is a retired U.S. Army officer who entered the Kansas legislature in 2020. Earlier this week, he launched a campaign for the Republican nomination for Secretary of State. He's from Leavenworth. He serves as chairman of the Kansas House Elections Committee. If elected in November of next year, he would become the state's top elections administrator. The position would be open, assuming Secretary of State Scott Schwab continues with his plan to seek the GOP nomination for governor. Thank you for joining us. Congrats. Nice to have you back on the show again, brother.
No, thanks for having me back, and I'm sorry I can't be there at the fire pit with you. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, you know about half the people here. A couple of them, more than a couple of them, are colleagues of yours, including our host this evening. So you're tired of the House already, are you?
No, I've been the chair of the Elections Committee for 3 years, and I was on the committee 2 years before that. We've gotten a lot of stuff done on the Elections Committee, especially this year, with like citizens-only voting and doing away with 3-day grace periods, so Election Day is Election Day. We really, really, really need to have the right person in the chair there in the Secretary of State's office to make sure that we continue the progress on restoring confidence in our elections, and we don't have the wrong person in there that tearing it down.
You guys did. I mean, I served on elections when I was a freshman in the legislature, and you guys did a lot this year. I'm actually impressed with how much you were able to accomplish this session. You mentioned a couple of them. Getting foreign money out of Kansas elections was another one. I think ending the waiting period is one of the major ones, because that thing has been I've never understood, Florida can not only do their elections, they've got 6 million, something like that in their population, but then they can get their results done in the same day too. And here we are in Kansas waiting sometimes 2-3 weeks to get legitimate election results. I've never understood that. Part of the problem is the mail-in ballot nonsense, and I'm glad to see that you guys finally put an end to that.
Yeah, I can think of nothing more corrosive to voter confidence than vote counts that continue to change for days after the election.
Right.
Except maybe ranked choice voting, which we also banned this year. Having a vote count method that requires a 2-page explainer to explain to voters, that's pretty corrosive to voter confidence too. I'm really excited about some of the stuff that we've gotten done this year. And like I said, we need the right person in the chair to continue the work.
Another thing I'd love to see get rid of is drop boxes. I've never been a fan of those. It's one of the few areas that me and Scott Schwab actually disagree on is the drop boxes. Maybe it's just because I'm a skeptic. I don't trust them. I never really have. And I don't think maybe during COVID they were necessary. Now I don't think they are. But I'm just old-fashioned. I vote on Election Day. I always have. And I just like to see us. Let's just go to, Election Day is a federal holiday. Everybody gets a day off, and you go vote in person. But that's just me. I'm kind of old-fashioned. Let me ask you this. Why? I mean, you got a nice cushy gig in the House. You just got a pay raise. You're chairman of a committee. Why do you want to? Because now you're going to have to run. It's statewide. So you got to, trust me, I've driven the bus on the last 2 governor's races. I've had to do a statewide race now twice. It is no fun. Now you want to do a statewide race. Are you just a glutton for punishment? Yeah. Is that it?
John, I spent 25 years in the Army. By
the way, thank you for your service.
It's an honor to serve. I'd do most of it again. Place like Iraq and Afghanistan, and when you're serving in the military, you're serving the nation. And so I guess theoretically, everybody you see in the United States, you're serving them. But this last 5 years serving in the legislature, I really know everybody I'm serving, and when I'm sitting down to vote, I know how those votes affect folks. And, this problem that we have in the state and the country with voter confidence, this is a threat to our form of government, our way of life. And I really think that we need the right person in the Secretary of State's office. And there's a lot of folks out there, several of them have floated their name for this job, that are not about restoring voter confidence. They're about eroding voter confidence for political gain. And I think that's dangerous right now. I think we need folks that are focused on the right things, that are focused on, engaging people that have concerns, and where those concerns come from a lack of understanding, we improve transparency so that everybody can see the process. But where those concerns are real vulnerabilities, because there are still vulnerabilities in our election system, it's secure, but it's not impregnable. It's a human system. If there are vulnerabilities, we need to address them. And I think that's kind of the approach we should be taking, and that's why I've decided to throw my hat in the ring.
I haven't heard. I mean, I've heard of a few other folks who are thinking about it. I saw an announcement from the former chair of the Kansas Republican Party, Mike Brown, who ran for Secretary of State 4 years ago against Scott Schwab, and he lost. I'm not. Are there other people who've kind of toyed with it? I've not heard of any other names.
Well, the person you just mentioned has had a banner on his Facebook page a couple times, so I don't know if he's just trolling it or he's actually going to jump in. But that would concern me. That would concern me, having him in that chair. So, and that's really, frankly, if I'm 100% honest with you, what made me finally take the leap and throw my hat in the ring. It is really crucial right now. We're starting to make progress. 3 years ago, I think it was, Hays State University had a poll. Nearly half of Kansans didn't believe that the results of our election, reflect their will. I think it's starting to turn around. I can't wait to see what that next poll says. But, the last thing we need to do is go backwards by, putting a bomb thrower in the Secretary of State's office who's going to go around telling us that it's all rigged and, take us back to 3 years ago.
No, I think people in Kansas have trust and faith in our elections. I will say I'm with you. I mean, looking at the way Mike Brown ran the Kansas Republican Party into the ditch, obviously now saying this, he's not going to come on this show, but then again, he wouldn't anyway. So, if that's your opponent, I think you're probably going to be just fine, brother. If
he started his time as chair of the Republican Party with $150,000 and ended with $7. So imagine what he could do with the Secretary of State's office.
I'm just gonna leave that right there. If folks want to connect with you, if they want information, most importantly, if they want to donate, what's the best way for them to get information, to connect with you, and to get involved, my friend?
Yep. So my website hasn't changed from when I was in the House race. It's Pat Proctor, spelled with an O-R, the number 4, KS for Kansas.gov. So Pat Proctor for Kansas.gov.
Pat, I wish you all the best, my friend. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. We have, I'm sure, you'll be up there for, at least in Topeka, for another session next year as well, and I'm sure we'll be talking before then. But best of luck, my friend, as you start off on this new adventure as well.
Thank you, and don't forget the veto session. I'm going to be real busy because she's going to veto just about everything we've done.
Yeah. Dan gave us a bit of a preview earlier, and I'm sure you guys will be busy as well. Keep up the good work, and best of luck, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on.